Hi, my name is Danilo and I do stop-motion animation. Today's program is a little bit about the history of animation, the classification of stop-motion animation, puppet makers, the ones that are left, and our regular column, how is it made? The classic articulated skeleton, and now a bit of history. Puppet animation in the Russian-speaking world appeared in the early 19th century. Mixing shooting, video, and stop-motion animation techniques, it became the first VFX in the history of Russian cinema. It can be revisited in the 1936th year movie, The New Gulliver. My recommendation. I was curious. When the concept of stop-motion animation came up, I Googled it and realized that the terminology was a bit different back then. Prior to 1958, stop-motion animators were commonly referred to as puppet animators, those who operated puppets. Until 1985, they were animators from the word multi, which means to multiply. And since 2000, they've been animators. In English, it sounds like tautology. In Ukrainian and Russian, it sounds different. Of course, if there was a mix of techniques in the films, sign the specification. Stop-motion animators. And now some special information for video production and advertising agencies. One stop-motion animator and another stop-motion animator, they are different. In fact, there are about 10 subspecies of stop-motion animation. I'll list the 5 main ones. The first type is puppet animation. The second type is claymation. The third type is object animation. The fourth type is pixelation. The fifth type is cutout animation. So animator is the general name of the animation technique. It's like an auto mechanic is a specialty, an auto painter, mechanic, or electrician is an individual. Therefore, when you need an animator, before offering to participate in the tender, look in the animator's portfolio in order to determine the profile of his activities. But most importantly, choose by the style of vision of the author, not by price. Who is cheaper? The animator, puppet maker, and armature maker are most often one person. In the USA, for example, I assume that every industry is divided into departments, and in the price, highly specialized specialists who are able to perform their small task absolutely accurately. Dogs.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Narrowly specialized specialists who are able to fulfill their small task 100%. In the Russian-speaking world, and in general in the former CIS countries, people are valued as Swiss knives who possess many skills at once. It's because it's cheaper for the employer. Since the times of Soviet cinematography, there are practically no puppet specialists left. In Russia, Igor Khilov. In Ukraine, Oleg Pedan. Oleg Pedan is a Ukrainian puppet master, artist, animation director, scriptwriter, stop-motion animator. He taught at the Kyiv National University and the Karpenko-Karov Theater of Cinema and Television. In front of you is a classic articulated skeleton for stop-motion puppet animation. Wow, what a title! How is it made? The armature is made using spot welding. Spot welding is when two parts are pressed together. An electrical pulse is passed between them. The current melts the spots where it passes. The spots melt and the metal sticks to each other. The balls are attached to the rods with tension. Tension fit. A ball with a smaller diameter hole, like a rubber ball, is stretched over a larger diameter rod and held in place by pressure. Under certain conditions, of course, this requires cooling the rod. When cooled, boys know, rods shrink considerably, and the ball with the hole should be heated. When heated accordingly, the metal expands. When joining, due to the thermal expansion of the metal, the parts return to their original size and hug each other, hence the name interference fit. The joints of the arms and legs are made of brass. Fact: about 70% in brass is recycled material. That material, brass, is created from recycled material, and steel is only 20% recycled material. The feet have 1 degree of freedom to rotate about their own axis. There's a 7 mm diameter bearing ball. In the heels, the usual holes for the tie-down screws we are used to are small holes of about 1 mm. The attachment of the puppet is of the type of pinning with pins to the surface of the table. Also, these skeletons do not have holes for the rigging systems. That's it. It turns out, yes.
Price and quality. The choice is yours.